Hey everybody, my name is Bethany Stahl and I am an author. Today I am so excited, genuinely excited to share with you how to use AMS or Amazon advertising. I can genuinely say that without Amazon advertising, my career would not have been as successful as it has been. Ads really help kick off your career on any platform. Advertising is just an essential part. It helps spread the word to people you otherwise wouldn't have contact with. So what I'm about to share is really important, and I'm really excited. I do want to say I do not consider myself an expert, but I'm able to make money with it, and you should be too. I don't think I'm ever going to be an expert in anything, only because there is just always something to learn. Ads are always changing, they're always revamping them. So I also do want to encourage you all to watch other videos, learn from other people, whether that's paid classes with someone or free sources like this video. I always recommend getting a really well-rounded education in something. That way you can sort of take pieces of my strategy, somebody else's strategy, and form it together with your own. So even though this works for me, you may want to tweak things, or you might like something better or whatever. It's kind of like cooking, salt and pepper to taste, tweak to your taste. But let's get started. So I do have a Facebook group that is self-publishing resources. The link is down below in the description. In this group, I ask you guys questions of what videos you want to see, what you guys want to talk about, and all of today's questions came specifically from that group and my Patreon page. Those are pretty much one and the same. The Patreon members do get a little bit of extra goodies and information, but that group I have is where I share as much information as I possibly can. So I am going to assume if you're watching this video, you already know a little teensy bit about AMS, or you've probably played around in the platform. So if you are brand new, I'm going to quickly go through this process. So if you're on Amazon's advertising page, you'll want to click sign in, and we want the advertising console. It's going to be the middle option. Okay, so there is going to be a little create a portfolio button on the left side of your screen, which I highly recommend you use. I like to separate my portfolios by my books, so each of my books is its own portfolio. Within that portfolio, I put a ton of different ads. This is really good because I can click on that portfolio and see how well overall each book is performing. It also gives you really detailed information to where I can see, some months certain books sell better than others, so when I know that month is coming up, I can raise up all my advertising, I can throw new ads at it, and really push a certain book on Amazon or any other advertising platform and help generate more sales. So I highly recommend you do that. I didn't at first, and it's so much easier being organized from the beginning, so learn from my mistake, be organized. So we are going to click on create a campaign, which is this little orange button. So there's two options from here, sponsored products and lock screen ads. I've done lock screen ads. I didn't think they performed as well as they could have. Sponsored products seem to make a lot more money, which I'm assuming this is why we're all here. We want to sell more, we want to make more money. So let's do sponsored products. But again, I highly recommend you try everything out on your own, just the same. For the campaign name, I like to organize it by book. So let's just use, what's my most recent book that came out? Save the Land. So we'll do STL, which is for Save the Land. And then I do today's date, 6/24/20. And then sometimes I'll put plus text, so I put custom text, or I will say if it's a remarketing strategy, any sort of strategy I'm using, or any additional information. So that's going to be up to you. I am going to choose my Save the Land portfolio. I don't put in end dates. Sometimes I do. It is a strategy to where if you have an ad that's doing well and all of a sudden it stops, if you turn on an end date and sort of move around the end date a little bit, it kind of wakes up an ad. I don't know why that is. I learned it from research and trying it out myself. It does work. I've woken up old ads by just playing with the date and budget. So, usually though, I don't put in end dates. And then daily budget, I do recommend, not $25, $5. And let's do manual targeting. So let me go to my questions really quick and see. So a question we have is, what is the best way to get started with ads? And where do you spend your time? And how often are you going to check on your ads? So the best way to get started is just to get started. I was so scared to start with ads because I looked at this platform and I was like, this is too much information. I'm an author. And an illustrator. I wanted to draw pictures and write stories. That's it. I didn't want to learn anything about advertising. I didn't find it interesting and I was scared. The biggest part I was scared about was losing money. I was making money on my books, but I didn't want to spend any of that money on advertising because what if it didn't make money back? I will genuinely say, technically, I have never paid for advertising because it pays for itself. That's how it should be. If you notice you're paying for advertising and you're not getting a return, so you want an ROI or return of investment, if you're not getting that, shut that ad down and start over. Ads should do nothing but make you money. I first got started with ads because I actually seen someone, it was a woman and she was retired. She wrote a book and she wanted to advertise her book and sell it. She learned AMS and she was amazing at it. And I was inspired. I was like, you know what? I have made enough excuses. I have no reason why I can't learn something new. Here is a woman. She's retired. She got like her first computer that went online. She figured out Amazon. She figured out how to publish a book. Like, she did all these things. And I'm like, how am I making excuses when somebody else is that motivated? So don't make any excuses. Literally, anybody can learn this. Anybody can do this. And I would shout her out, but it was on a private profile, so I don't want to expose any information. So I also want to encourage you. You asked about spending time. Spend your time valuably. It's very easy to just get caught up in staring at an ad screen waiting for something to happen. I like checking my ads in the morning. I will give myself like an hour in the morning to run through all my ads and check them. And I check on them a minimum of weekly unless I go on vacation, and I'm pretty confident that my ads will be okay while I'm gone. But I do like to check on them at least once a week. When I first got started in ads, I checked on them every single morning, which if you are newer, I think it's a good way to learn, but definitely don't go any shorter than 1 week of checking on it. So what is the budget? So this is perfect time to ask about this. So what are the ranges that you pay per click? And when you start it, do you then increase it or decrease it or change it? So this is going to be a fun answer because it gets confusing, and feel free to take notes, rewatch this video, write this down. So also, I know a lot of you are Patreons. If you're a patron on Patreon, I am going to make a flowchart of ads and when to spend money, when not to spend money. That way you can sort of follow through and go, oh, this is my next step. So that's going to be available to you guys as a thank you for being patrons. So I love using a daily budget of $5. And then I like to use 25 cents to start on my bids. So I only do dynamic down, and I will go ahead and, what did we decide to pick? Save the land. I only advertise paperbacks. I don't advertise ebooks. I don't think the profit is big enough. I know some people say it is if they have a high KNEP and they're getting paid for page reads. I still see ebook sales and a much higher return of investment if I advertise just the paperback. That's just me. Try it out. I tried it out. I didn't like it. It was profitable. It just wasn't as profitable as I would have liked. So I've added in my book, and instead of suggested bid, I do custom bid, and I put in 25 cents. I know that's low. I know a lot of different people say a ton of different things of how much you should spend. I like 25 cents. I'm in this to make money from my ads. I don't want this to sink my career. I love writing books. I love creating books. This is a fun career. I don't want this to be the destroying part. If you have tons of budget for money and you want to go all out with your bids, go for it. But if you guys are frugal like me, I start off with 25 cents. It's safe. We can all lose a quarter. It's not the end of the world. And quarters add up quick. So we want to make sure that we're willing to have this money that we're putting into it. And sometimes that's cool. It will recommend you keywords. So we'll throw all of those in there. And you can use phrase and exact. Broad does seem to have the best ROI, but always feel free to use others. And then I will enter a list of keywords. So the question is, do I increase or decrease my bid once I start? And I do. So this is what we are going to do. Okay, so we have a keyword. So this is going to be your keyword. We will talk about how to find these later, but don't use any keywords that other people are using. So if I showed you guys all my best performing keywords, they likely wouldn't perform well for you because they're specific to my books, my writing style, my illustrations. So when you ask people like, oh, what's your keyword? I'm going to use it. It doesn't work. When I first got started, I thought maybe it would work, and I tried, and it didn't. It just didn't work well. So don't worry about other people's keywords. You're going to want to just worry about your keywords and what works for you. So if I start off with a 25-cent bid, and I have spent anywhere from 75 cents to $3, and I have no orders, and my sales are nothing, and my ACOS is like horrible percentage. What I do is that ad goes off. But if I have an keyword and it's 25 cents and I have over 3 orders and my ACOS is something under 10%, then here I may look at what is the suggested bid. They said for this keyword that I took a screenshot of, it's $1.88. I can make mine $1. I can make mine 30 cents, 50 cents. I will raise it up to where I am still going to make a profit, but I'm going to be a little bit more competitive. So I'll outbid other people for that keyword. Why I wait till I have 3 orders at least and under 10% for my ACOS is because if I do that, I know that keyword is performing well. It is cheap. It makes clicks happen. It makes sales happen. So that is what I want. Now, if I have maybe 1 order and my ACOS is something like 18%, I may change this, a little low, or 18% still pretty good. Let's do 28%. But I've gotten an order, or even maybe I could have, 10 orders, but the ACOS is near breaking point of, is this profitable? Is this breaking even? I'm kind of paying people to buy my book and I'm not really getting anything out of it besides sales. So what do I do at this point? At this point, I would look at my bid and maybe change it to 20 cents. And I will be bidding less, but I'm spending less. I know it makes orders, I know it makes money in sales, but it's just not as profitable as I want. By lowering my bid, then I'm paying less. I'm still going to have it be performing well because people who like that keyword like to buy my book. And this over time will lower. Once this comes back down to something we're comfortable with, maybe that 18% like we were talking about, then I can bump this back up to 25 cents and let it start spending more again. And it is sort of a balancing act. I don't ditch a keyword completely until it has spent anywhere from 75 cents to $3. And no orders or an ACOS that's out of the roof. But I like to give it at least to 75 cents to give it 3 full clicks of 25 cents. I know that's really harsh. That's how I started off. If I didn't make a sale within those first 3 impressions, then ship it out. But that's how I've managed to keep my ACOS performing at percentages in the tens. So 10 to 20% is my sweet spot where my ACOS is, which means I make a decent profit off of my ads. I am more liberal with some and not with other. It just really depends on how well they are spending. For my bids, there are times I raise it up really high. I have this one keyword that works for one of my books, and its ACOS is seriously 0.88%. So nearly every single time somebody uses that keyword, they buy my book. So I put my bid extremely high because I know if somebody clicks on that, they're going to buy my book. And the orders, I think, at this point are like 78 books got ordered from that one keyword. And it's insane. It's magic. This is why you should use ads, because you will find those keywords that are literally magic sauce and just really work for your book. And when you do find keywords that are that well performing, who is the author? Who is the illustrator? Was it a book? Was it a search term? What did you use? And what other products are they looking at? So constantly put yourself in the consumer's perspective. So expand your bubble around that keyword. If my keyword was toddler books about being different or something of that sort, look at that keyword, search it on Amazon. What books come up? Take all those books, take all those keywords you find, and put it in an ad, and you'll be golden. Let's see what else we have questions about. Oh, and then what do you put as your daily bid? So this is where I put the $5 originally. So do I lower that or raise that? I do. So if my ACOS is creeping higher and higher and higher, I might lower that down to $1 a day until I can get that ad set in check, get that ad set back leveled, and then I will raise it back up again. Or if I have an ad set, so this is the entire set, not per keyword, just the set of package of keywords. If that package is performing really well and my ACOS is something like 10%, I will put $50 a day, $100 a day. Amazon doesn't spend your maximum, but they have allowance too. So be prepared. If you put a number there, potentially they could spend that in a day. So be prepared. But they typically don't. I don't think I've ever had them spend more than, I think, $20 a day per ad set. And that was okay with me because my ACOS was good. However, even for the bids, if you're putting 25 cents, that's your bid cap. So anything below that can happen. They can be putting clicks that are cost only 2 cents. So that is a cap. So the $5 is your max daily spend. But yes, I do alter a little bit of everything. So time frame. How long should I give an ad to perform? So this is talking about end dates, I believe. Give it forever. I've had ads, my very first ads were on Save the Ocean, and I have ads that I launched the week it came out that are still performing incredibly well, even with keywords I haven't touched in over a year. So as long as it's profitable, keep it going. And if you're wondering how long do I give an ad before I just kill it, I would give it until it's not profitable. So all of our ads are likely not going to be super profitable at first, unless you have really great keywords and you start making sales immediately, which I've had happen. But give new ads a little bit of time. And I don't think there's a set time frame. I don't say kill it after a week, kill it after 2 weeks, give it a month. Nothing like that. I give it until the keywords just aren't doing it. If you have keywords that are performing well in the ad group, but on the whole your entire ad is unprofitable, keep tailoring the keywords, keep deactivating them and tweaking it to where you get those well-performing keywords on top. If it still ends up being to where you're spending a ton of money, you have a few good keywords, but overall the ad is just not doing well, shut down that ad, take all the keywords that performed well, pull them out, and then put them in a new ad with all new keywords and try again. So this time frame is really up to you. I like to give my ads as long as they can go before they're dead. So if they are still getting profitable words, I'll keep them going. I think that answers that question. And what types of keywords do you use? Where do you find them? This is something I've seen different from everybody who talks about how they find their keywords. I am a crazy person with my keywords. Obviously, I want to sell my books. I want to expand my audience. And I want to make sure I'm reaching as many people as possible. So I collect keywords in a variety of ways. Keywords. So you want to use search terms. So when you're using search terms, I'm talking about when I think of Save the Land, how would I find this book if I was a customer? What would I look up? Perhaps books about Africa, books about erosion, books about environmentalism, conservation books. Let's see, keywords. And just look at your book, and as you're flipping through the pages, think about what it could be. Oh, books about the Sahara Desert, books about the Savannah, books about the Sahel, books about trees, books about planting trees, books for kids about the environment. And just go through and see what is my book? What is it about? What is it really about? And I know this is hard to think about, especially when we know our books so well. We almost don't know them anymore, if that makes sense. So it gets a little bit hard to think, well, how would somebody find my book? If you have friends, if you have family, ask them. And go into incognito and search for something that you think could be relevant and see what Google says. So let's see, children's books about, wow. So this is race, diversity, dogs, food, death, summer, music, feelings, plants, animals. Use those. This is great. So let's do animals, since there's animals in my book. It's not necessarily about animals, but look at all these books up here. I can use all their titles, all their authors to help promote mine. Amazon's bestsellers and children's animal books, Book Riot, all these really great things. Use these terms to try and help you find your niche. Also, when you go to your books page on Amazon, what categories are you in? Look at all those categories. Who's best-selling in your categories? Target them. Who likes their books? Target them. So if best-selling in your category is a book, look at that book, look at that author, click on their book. What books are best-selling with their books? Who else is being sold with them? So you want to be in their club. You don't want to look at, the person who is like lower in a category and not selling as well. We want to target the cool kids so we can be with the cool kids, if that makes sense. And the only way into the cool group is maybe seeing who else is friends with the cool kids. So that's sort of how you want to look at your books. Try and figure out how you can get into that club. How do you get recommended with them? And as you start selling with these books, your book is going to elevate and elevate and elevate and elevate, because you're selling with them. And revamp this all the time. There are new bestsellers every single week, every single month. You'll see some people are able to hold best-selling spots. That's great. But it does cycle, so keep looking at who's in the top 50 in the month of May, who's the top 50 in the month of July, who's the top 50 this week, and look at the new releases, because these new releases, while some of them may be flops, there may be a gold mine in the new releases. Target those people because they're selling right now with you. So as they're selling and advertising their books a lot to new audiences, jump on their bandwagon and go along the journey with them. So how do you know if a word is working? This is going to vary. So if it is profitable, it's working. I, again, said I'm really strict. So if I don't get a sale within 70 to 75 cents, and sometimes I'll give it up to $3 if I think it's a really good word and it should be selling books, then I will give it that space. But if I'm just starting out and I really want to watch my budget and I really want to find super high performing keywords, if it doesn't sell anything within that first 75 cents, turn it off. And you can always turn it back on later. But as you're tweaking and getting your ACOS up and getting a profitable ad spend, shut it off. Keywords versus categories, and how do you find categories? So I've been talking about keywords. You can also do categories and interest targeting. So that would be, I'll show a quick screenshot of that. That's, I don't think it's as profitable, and it gets complicated, but how do you find categories? How do you find keywords or categories to target? I have a tool and I've shared it with my Patreon. So if you're a patron, you already have the link, but I will put it down below in the description below. And I'm also going to post it in my Facebook group, where it is a tool that you can use and it's free. And you put in a books link and it tells you all the categories they're in. So you can see your competitors, if you're in a category and another book is holding, in the top 50 or in the top 10, even best-selling, you can look at all of their categories, and then I recommend targeting those categories. That way you're hitting, again, people who are in your audience. So that tool is great. And I'll flash it up on the screen. I can't think of the name, but that is there. Let's see, what else? Do you like automatic ads or manual ads? I like both, and automatics are secret gold mines. So some of my best performing ads are automatic ads, and So an automatic ad is where you're not putting in any keywords. You're telling Amazon, sell my book for me. Here's the money. Go. Goodbye. Which is great because it's a lot quicker to set up. You can set it up in automatic ad in literally seconds. And it's off and running. I've found that automatic ads don't work well if you don't already have manual ads. I recommend you at least have 3 to 5 manual ads that are performing well before you throw out any automatics. And you can always start an automatic ad, but I think that's before automatic ads really start performing well. And I think this is because Amazon doesn't know what your book is, so they're not really sure where to target and throw your ad to. So if I have my book's selling well, I'm selling 30 books a day, and my ads are doing decent, and I've put on an automatic ad, the automatic ad is going to do great because Amazon's like, okay, we know exactly who to sell your book to. Versus if I just have a new release, my book has only sold, like the pre-orders, so it's only sold, 50 to 100 copies. Even if there's no pre-orders, it has sold, let's say there's no pre-orders, nothing. I just launched a book and there it goes. It's not going to really know what to do for an automatic ad because you haven't sold anything yet. But as you start selling, your automatic ads are kind of going to kick in and go, whoo, I know what we're doing now. And in terms of the types of automatic ads, you'll see 4 little options. I leave them all on. If they go unprofitable, kick them off. I also do 25 cents on those and adjust accordingly. But I typically like keeping automatic ads at 25 to 30 cents, and that seems to do well. Now with automatic ads, there is this secret little button that you can click on, and it's search terms, and it's on this left-hand side, and that's going to show you all the terms people use to search your book. And you can click on your orders and see what search term led to an order. And what I would recommend is if you have an automatic ad, the automatic ad's performing well, go into those search terms and look at what search terms got you orders. Take all of those keywords, put them into a manual ad, add a few more, and then let that run. So that's called remarketing. You want to take what works and put it out again, and then take what works and put it out again. That way you're taking an ad set, let's say it was 20% ACOS, now you put it out again with all the goodies, and that one performs at 15. You put it out again, and that one performs at 10. So you're sort of getting a conglomerate of gold. And for how many keywords you use, I like using at least 250. Anything less and it doesn't perform as well. So what numbers should you be reaching with your ads? This is what I have to say about numbers. Them. So I am a huge advocate for not sharing numbers, only because you get caught up in everybody else. I see this question all the time. How much do you spend per day? How much do you recommend doing for this? How much do you recommend doing for that? And it's like, if I told you I spend $500 every single week on advertising, that means nothing to you because my $500 could be making me, $1,500 a week. And that, to me, it would be good. But if I told you, hey, I spend $500 a week on advertising, you would be like, holy, do I have to spend that much to make money? No. I think at first I spent maybe $50 a month on advertising, and that was a lot because I was a little scared. Keep in mind, Amazon advertising does charge you for the month of, and KDP pays you 3 months delayed. So you're going to have a little bit of an offset where you're paying for ads that you're not getting paid for immediately. So make sure when you do start ads, you have some money to pay for them before they really start lining up. So you're going to have that 3 month delay with that. But don't worry about numbers. If you're profitable, that's the only numbers that matter. And this is about sales too. If I tell you, I sell 50 to 100 books per day, that means nothing, because how much am I spending in advertising? What is my profit? I could be making the same amount of money as somebody who sells 500 books a day. I could be making the same amount of money as somebody who sells 15 books a day, because they may not pay for any advertising. The 500 books a day might be spending so much in advertising to where they're not even breaking even. So don't get caught up on numbers. They're really abstract and they genuinely mean nothing. What means something is how much you are making, how much you are sustaining yourself and your career. So if it's profitable, keep it. If it's not, throw it away and start over. I think that is all the questions. If you have more questions about AMS, please feel free to ask. And like I said, I'm going to make a flowchart with all this information condensed so you can literally put your finger on it and follow what I would recommend you do with your ads. Like I said, my ads genuinely launched my career. I didn't use advertising before Save the Ocean, which is my first bestseller. And I don't think that book would be half as successful as it is if I never used advertising on it. And me saying so this is a disclaimer. This is a last minute disclaimer. Ads don't work for every book. And I'm going to say this because this is the sad part of being self-published, is we need to look at ourselves and we really need to analyze ourselves and ask, is our book even good? And I know that's a really crappy thing to ask yourself, because we all want to think our book is like the best book ever and is great, and everybody is missing out if they don't have our book. But we really need to look at it. So when I look at my books, do they have cover appeal? Do I want to click on them? And I want to make sure that it's something that if I seen in a bookstore, I would grab off the shelf. So if your ads aren't performing well, take your books to a bookshop and put them up against others. Get on Photoshop and put a bunch of covers together and throw your cover in there and look at them and go, you know what? I wouldn't even pick my own. So look at your covers and try to see, is it even something you'd click on? Because that's a big part of advertising. You have custom text as an option in your ads. Is your custom text something that makes people want to click on it? Are you being engaging? Are you asking a question? Are you telling them what it's about? And really analyze, is that good? Try different custom text. I have some ads with text. I have some ads without text. And it really depends on if that blurb is good. You also need to make sure, is your description good on Amazon? When they click on the page and they can read about your book, does it tell you what the book is about? Is everything spelled right in there? Are you using HTML to make it pop? Is it bold? Is it small? Is it underlined? Do you have interesting elements? So sort of understanding, is your book good? Is it sellable? So there are some books of mine that ads just don't do well on. They just don't work, and it's an issue with the book. Or, for example, my book about endometriosis, that is a super niche topic that tons and tons of people aren't looking up all the time. So ads will not perform as well because it's not something that you can sell tons and tons of. So if there is something, if you wrote a book about something very specific in a very niche topic, your advertising will be better spent targeting those people in other ways versus general ads or ads that may not grab people. So look at your books with a very fine-tooth comb, and if you follow these directions and if you listen to others and your ads still aren't working, there may be a problem with your book. And if there is a problem with your book, I highly recommend making it a zombie, and I talk about that on my Patreon page, because zombie books are also gold mines. So I hope you guys learned something from this, and I will see you all next time. If you want to join my Facebook group, join the link down below, and check out all the resources I'm going to list for you. I really want you guys to succeed in your author's career. Never feel like you have to compete against another author, because everybody who likes books wants to read more books. So in reality, while you may think we are each other's competition, we are not. We are each other's promoters, and I can piggyback off of you. You guys can piggyback off of me. And as authors, we all benefit when each other are selling. So you want to help your fellow author. You want to follow your fellow author. You want to really support the community and not be mad if somebody else is selling well. Be happy and then do what they're doing so you can be even happier. I hope that makes sense, and thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe. I just got some analytics back that said 98% of you aren't subscribed, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.